we got Dune Part 2. You know how we got to start this off.
Absolutely. Denis Villeneuve has done it again.
He knows what he's doing.
I don't know how this man does it. I don't know what is it in his mind that he sees. I guess he even has dreams about it too, which props to him,
man.
And of course, real quick, we got before we even keep going with this, we gotta give a quick shout out to all the people in the comments, kind of like giving us the pointers of like, you know, Dune in the
Dune
world.
Part 1, in our Dune Part 1 video.
And our Dune Part 2 reaction. So major props to you guys. Without y'all, we wouldn't have known what was going on, and without us piecing the puzzles together. But anyways, let's continue. The world in this movie has now gotten bigger. And obviously we gotta start at the beginning. It literally picks up right after where part 1 left off.
Yeah.
Paul just killed Jamis in a duel. I think it was Amtal, and so they're taking his body over to the siege, and man, that whole fight in the beginning, just seeing like how the Fremen do their shit while the Harkonnens is trying to do their shit, but it's the Fremen that like has them completely has them by the nuts, because the Harkonnen is in their land. Yo, man. Yo. And listen, and not even just that, we get little character moments and shit too. We get little character moments and little moments of just how the world in this story works. Like when you're on Arrakis, right? When you're on Arrakis, you gotta wear these still suits, right? And what they do is they take your body's like what's it called? Like perspiration or some shit. The sweat, tears, all that, and
all your water in your body.
all the water in your body. It takes it. The suit takes it and it recycles it so for you to drink it, because it gets hot as fuck out there.
It's crazy. There's no water out there.
No, absolutely not. So, and not only that, the one thing I love the most about this is seeing how certain people react to like seeing people like cry or throw up or even like sweating, you know?
Yeah, all that water going to waste.
Yeah, that's exactly what they call it. Yeah. They like, hey, don't give it your water. Don't give them your water. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, okay, we're in for something. Yeah. We're in for something special with this one. And of course, we gotta give it to Stilgar. This man Stilgar, man, first of all, he's a trip, but I love him.
Man.
Like, this man, he was preaching to everybody like, yo, the Lisan al-Gaib is here. He's here. He's gonna help us. He's here to save us. All this other stuff. He's the Messiah, basically.
Yeah, he was going off about it.
Yeah, he was going off. And Chani and them, they were just laughing at him like, this dude, he don't know what he's talking about. He from the South. Everybody in the South believe all that. Us, we don't believe all that here. Yeah. And they're praying and everything too. And yo, you just, I swear, man. And not only that, not only has the world gotten bigger, you see certain characters get more shine in this too.
Oh yeah.
Especially Stilgar. We see Paul and Chani. We see Chani in this one a lot more.
True.
Because the last one we only saw Chani through like dreams and visions and shit. This time we see Chani full fledged, and man,
dude, the character building throughout this movie just intensifies.
Yeah, the one thing that Denis Villeneuve had said before filming this, he said that in this one we got to do it as a love story between Paul and Chani. It starts with those two, because without those two, the movie doesn't work. And I'm like, you know what? You're right.
Very true.
You're right, Denis Villeneuve. You are right, man. Like because if you don't believe this relationship, which I did, I completely believed it.
Oh yeah.
Like, the movie falls apart. And so of course the world gets bigger. They make it to the siege. We're hanging out with Lady Jessica. We're hanging out with Paul. We're hanging out with Chani and the crew. We're hanging out with Stilgar and the crew. And Stilgar, I think it was Stilgar who gets Lady Jessica, and they go down to the what is it? The water of the souls, or the souls of the water, something like that. Yeah, and he offers to her, "Hey, you got to be our Reverend Mother, or otherwise you got to die." And I was like, "Damn!"
There's no choice in that.
No,
Yeah.
damn. So after she accepts, she's pregnant. By the way, I forgot to mention that she's pregnant, because they mentioned that in part 1, but she's pregnant even more in this one, and it's gotten so crazy to the point where they have her do this. I don't know what they call it, but it's like they drink the water of life. And
oh yeah, it was from a baby sandworm.
Yeah. But we didn't know that at first. So they have her drink the water of life, and it completely turns her eyes blue. For stars. But here's the thing. The thing I loved about that, they were freaking out because they thought she died, and they were like, and one of the people there, they were like, "What do we do? What do we do? We just killed her. She's pregnant." Like, and when she woke up, yo, Lady Jessica was on some cult shit at that point.
Pretty much, yeah.
Like, not only was she on some cult shit, she was even walking around like kind of talking to herself and everything too. But then you end up figuring out, oh wait, she's not talking to herself. She's talking to the baby that's still like cooking in the fucking womb.
Yep.
And I'm just like,
that's crazy.
What? This cannot get any weirder, and it does. And it just, this fucking movie, man. I don't know how much crazy this movie I could get, but it somehow still gets crazier.
Yeah, it does. And
by the time that we get to see how they work, like how the Fremen like operates and how they fight the spice harvesters. Man, I knew something was up when we saw the small mouse that like collects the water from their ears.
Yeah.
And we see little tubes, but the tube is like kind of like making sounds like somebody's breathing. And I was like, y'all wait in the sand?
I was like, something's up.
Yeah, I was like, y'all wait in the sand before these harvesters can... Whew. Y'all got a lot of patience, for one. And two, when they come out and they start fucking shit... Oh, yo. It was a wrap for them.
Off.
It was a wrap.
Yeah.
Like, we even see Chani and them working the weapons and shit. Paul is, like, reloading and everything. There's even one point where Harkonnen was trying to sneak up on Chani, but Paul's like, Chani! Chani turned around, saw him, blasted his ass. I was like, damn! Like, in the way that he got blasted, he said, oh!
Yeah, he fucking exploded.
Gone. Straight gone. And that, man, and the way that this was filmed, man, the shots in this movie, movie, man.
Can't say enough of that.
Denis Villeneuve and the DP, what's his name, Greg Fraser or something like that. He also did the shots in the Batman too as well. So
yeah. Oh yeah.
And he did the shots in part 1 too. So
dude, this whole movie, it's a masterclass in filmmaking.
I'm gonna have to agree. I'm definitely gonna have to agree. It's like
brilliant.
It's like if you're a filmmaker, you go to this movie and you're learning something from Denis Villeneuve here.
Absolutely.
So, and then right after taking on the spice harvesters and whatnot, Paul he gets a war name. He tries to get it. Excuse me. He tries to get the name for the small mouse, but Stilgar was like, nah, man, nah, that ain't it. I mean, trust me, that's mouse might be very small, but that mouse got a lot of heart. The mouse is very powerful than you realize. And I was like, oh, really? So they call him Usul. Mm-hmm. And I was like, dope. I like the name. Now, Chani, she reveals to Paul that her name was it wasn't Chani at first. It was like some other stuff. I can't remember what it was.
I can't remember.
If I try and say it, I'm gonna butcher it completely, and I don't want to disrespect it. So when she says it, it really means desert spice, right? Mm-hmm. Desert spice, yeah. And when that happens, and they have a good and you see why she was called Desert Spice too later on, by the way. So after that happened, after tell them names, everybody welcomes Paul like, yeah, brother Usul, all that stuff. And I was like, yo, this fucking movie, man, y'all just got me. And Paul, he's having more nightmares. Well, not nightmares. He's having more visions because he's on Arrakis and he's been exposed to the spice for too long. Yeah. And like even Chani said, like, hey, you've been exposed to
it's affecting him.
Yeah, it causes you to have weird dreams.
Mm-hmm. And it's even in the food and shit. Yeah, it's even in the
food, which I never thought we would see. Like, it was crazy enough seeing the spice in the air. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, oh, it must be in the water too, I think. And then just hearing that it's in the food as well, I'm like, so y'all just, spice is just all around y'all, like, just non-stop. And I'm like, yo. And then, of course, after doing that with the Fremen, Stilgar and them, Paul sees Stilgar doing the sandworm ride. Now, by the time Paul is like, hey, I want to learn how to sandworm ride.
Yeah.
I was like, that's
gonna be wild.
It was, and when the scene came, talk to him.
No, dude.
Talk to him about
that. Is my favorite scene of this whole entire movie is when he was riding that sandworm. And even in the shitty-ass movie theater that we were watching it in, it felt like you were on that worm riding it with him.
Dude, it
felt like that sand was in your
face,
was
just hitting us.
Blowing. I don't know how the fuck they did that in this movie. I don't know how that was done, but damn, it was an amazing experience.
I'm saying, and the crazy thing is that when you think about it, we went to a garbage-ass movie theater, right?
Yeah.
If we had that experience in the garbage movie theater, imagine how much that experience would be in that scene in an IMAX theater or 40X theater. We would actually feel the sand hitting us.
I can't even imagine.
We would actually feel the sand hitting us, man.
And that just says something about this entire movie.
This whole movie, listen,
even in a trash theater, how amazing this shit was.
You can get everything out of this movie, even in a trash ass theater. That's saying a lot about this movie, man. And a lot of people will try to say like, "Oh, this is a spectacle," and I'm just like, "Nah, that's
more than that.
Way more than a spectacle.
Outranks that.
It's like
by far
to call this movie a spectacle. It just feels like it's almost like a disservice.
Yeah,
I mean, I would try.
It's not enough.
You got to come up with a better word than spectacle because this movie, this whole movie, I didn't care. Like there was some shit that I saw audience members doing. Like I saw one chick pulling her phone out during the movie. I didn't even care about that. I was so into the movie. I wasn't even worried about it.
Dude, now that you mention that, I didn't even notice.
Yeah,
like this movie had me fucking sucked into it, dude.
Man, I'm saying. And then once we get to after Paul has ridden the sandworm, which by the way, that whole setup was crazy because he's uphill, right? Mm-hmm, and he's trying to pound the ground and shit like Chani was doing earlier. And she was like, you gotta go lower. So he goes down a little lower, digs a little hole in the sand, boom, boom, boom. He's like, all right,
the right spot.
Got the spot. Puts the thumper in, boom, boom, boom. And then, of course, before Paul even got up to that point, one of the members in the Fremen was like, hey, call a big-ass one. And then Stilgar was like, hey, don't listen to him, Paul. You got it. So, when you see that worm come out...
everybody was just like...
Everyone was shook.
Oh, shit.
Even Stilgar, he was like, wait a minute, not that big.
Oh, no.
Turns out, I think that was the grandfather one.
Yeah,
Shai Hulud.
Yeah,
Shai Hulud. That was when Paul rides that fucking worm, oh my god, man, the sound of it all, you feel like the sand is hitting you. You're just seeing it all, and it just feels like you're on that worm with him.
I'm saying,
feels like you're on the worm with him. So everybody's celebrating. Lady Jessica, she's been spreading the word that Paul can ride Shai Hulud now, and Lisan Al-Gaib has made peace with Shai Hulud. So automatically everyone's like, yo, he's the one, he's the Messiah. God, he's the one. So like, and Lady Jessica, she's like, hey, and of course she's still talking to the baby, and she's like, hey, we gotta convert all the non-believers. We'll start with the weak ones. And I'm like, oh shit, yeah, she's definitely on some cool shit.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Keep in mind, she's Bene Gesserit. That's what they do. Mm-hmm. The Bene Gesserit plans. They're conniving as fuck. I'll get to them later. But so once she's going around spreading the word, she's going to the south, to the south of Arrakis, which, by the way, seeing like how they get to certain places just by sandworm riding.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I thought it was crazy enough seeing one person ride it. You see a whole squad of Fremen.
That was fucking awesome to see.
Riding riding a sandworm, which
literally using them like trains.
Yeah, and I think what was crazier was seeing how, like, I was like, okay, Lady Jessica's pregnant. She can't stand or sit on a sandworm like that. They set up a whole fucking little booth for her. Some
type of like pod.
Yeah. That's the one. And they even put like a curtain over the shit so like the sand can't get through the crevices and everything, and the spice and whatnot. I was like, yo, man, this fucking movie, man. Y'all are something else. Mm-hmm. Y'all are absolutely something else, yo. So by the time that they get to the south, we see Paul and him doing his thing, but then we end up cutting over to the Harkonnens and how they're still doing on that fuck shit as usual, trying to get the spice, trying to make money off of the shit, and of course, and what was fucking me up, Batista, which by the way, Batista,
dude, he did his thing, man.
This man Batista has come a long way, man.
Absolutely.
I still remember the first movie I saw him in, and he was terrible in that. I'm not even front, like, I mean, I'm not saying like I could have done better in my first movie, but hey, listen. You can tell he over the years, he put the work in.
He killed it in this movie, dude.
He put the work in, especially in this movie. Man. Like, listen, the thing that was fucking me up, he was killing his own people.
Yeah, true.
Like, one dude was trying to tell him, like, hey, something's wrong, blah, yada, yada. And then he just grabs him, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, yo! So he's going off like, hey, spice some more. Like, get some more spice. Like, harvest the shit and all that shit, And I'm like, yo. So the Baron, he's not satisfied with what Rabba is doing. So the Baron, he goes over to the, what is it? I can't remember the fucking planet now where they were at, where it's all Harkonnens. It's all in black and white, which
dude, that's awesome.
That whole scene where they go to the Harkonnens and it's all in black and white. You see fireworks going off, but it's like it's not fireworks to us. It
almost looks like ink in the sky.
I was just gonna say that shit, like little ink blots or some shit.
Yeah,
and it looks like ink blots, and we're seeing like. We're seeing like a gladiator arena in that shit, and the way that it was built, it didn't even look like a regular gladiator arena. It just looked like something that, I don't know, man. I don't know how to fucking describe it. We're seeing shit in this movie that we can't even describe.
Oh yeah.
This is one of those movies that I always tell people, you got to see this in theaters. You have to.
This is the definition of a theater movie right here.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like no doubt about it.
Hell yeah. So we're seeing. We see my man's Austin Butler, his Fade Rotha, which, hey, quick spiel about Austin Butler. I grew up watching this dude, man. We grew up watching this dude. Yeah. He was in stuff like Hannah Montana and Zoe 101 and all that other stuff, right?
Crazy. That's
crazy. Dude's come a long way, but man, listen. For the longest time, I doubted this dude. I'm gonna do the man thing, and I'm gonna admit everything. I doubted this dude for the longest time. I thought he was just one of those actors where I'm just like, he's a pretty boy. Just put him in pretty boy roles, and he'll be fine, But then he did his thing in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Got fucked up in that. I was like, okay, you might got a little something, but I'm still of the mindset that you got that pretty boy role, whatever. Proving my point more when he played Elvis. Which I didn't see. I'm not gonna watch it if I'm being honest. And then when I found out he got cast in this, I was like, okay, let's see what you got.
Mm-hmm.
and my man's killed it. So,
Hell
hey,
yeah, man.
Austin Butler, listen. When I meet this man, I'm gonna dab him up. I'm gonna be like, yo, you killed it in this movie, man.
Absolutely.
You fucking killed it. Like, he might, honestly, besides Stilgar, he was my favorite part in this whole movie.
Oh, facts.
Because this dude,
Oh, yeah.
fucking psycho.
Ruthless.
Ruthless.
Absolutely.
Cold-blooded. Everything I said about him before, like how he was a cold-blooded assassin or whatever the
man.
fuck.
Flashback.
He's a killer, a stone-cold killer.
Ooh, he's something to be not messed with.
Yeah,
He's-
and I
he's a
think,
threat.
yeah, I think he's gonna be worse than Batista, worse than the Baron, worse than pretty much anybody we've ever seen in the Harkonnen.
End of flashback.
That's exactly what it was.
It's exactly what it was, but it was times 20.
Fuck yeah.
And listen, they're painting him, right? They're painting him, but putting on like little like battle paint or whatever the fuck. And this dude comes up, he's like, "Hey, here's your blades," and he's like, "Oh, okay."
Fucking licks it.
Licks it, tries to see to cut his tongue just by like by the slightest. Kills one of the brides.
Yeah.
And I was like, "What the?
Where did that come from?
Yeah. And you see her throat just like just gushing out blood. And then he goes to another bride.
Another one.
I'm like, what the fuck
That's
are you doing?
a hell of a way to test the blade out like that. Damn.
I'm saying.
And after all that, he's like, nah, it needs to be sharper.
He's like, nah, make it sharper.
Like, holy shit.
So it turns out at this gladiator arena, it's his birthday. It's Feyd-Rautha's birthday.
Yep.
And the Baron is there. They got the last like 3 remaining members of the House Atreides because they wiped out House Atreides for the most part in part 1. And so they drugged 2 of them. They tried to drug the last guy, but I think he just said, nah.
He wasn't taking it.
Nah, he wasn't taking it. So he went out completely sober. You see, also, one of the Bene Gesserit is there as well. Lady Margot, she's there.
That's right, yeah.
She's there, and she's watching, like, hey, okay, that's Feyd-Rautha down there? Okay, cool. All right, cool. So that's what I'm about to get. I'm like, all right, dope. So we see Feyd-Rautha. Listen, this man in action is a fucking monster.
Fuck yeah.
This man is, the shit that he was doing. The fact that, listen, he had his shield on, which looked cool as shit in black and white.
Yeah, it did.
Like, just turning it on. You see the shit, like, reverberate around him and everything. And it was just black, because in part 1, we see the shields on him, and it's blue.
Yeah, it had like a blue shade
It has like a blue shade to it, but if it gets fucked up, it turns red.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see any of that in this.
Nope.
You just see straight black. And I was like, God damn. So, once we see him with the shield in action, boom, takes out the first dude that's drugged, can't walk in a straight line. Boom, takes out the second dude that's drugged up, can't walk in a straight line. And when he gets to the last dude, you get a whole like group of people like trying to surround him, right? Trying to surround the 2 of them, which this is when the battle got interesting. So, dude, he's holding his own against Feyd-Rautha. And Feyd-Rautha, he's just having fun.
Yeah.
Like, that's how psychotic this motherfucker is. He's literally just smiling, having a good time.
He's enjoying it.
Yeah, and it's his birthday, too. So, it's like, he's like, this must be my birthday gift. Nice, I get to fight somebody that's remotely
like, hey,
good.
an actual challenge.
Yeah, for real.
So
once he got that, listen, the one thing I loved about this scene, really showing how psychotic this motherfucker is when one of the motherfuckers was actually about to get was actually about to kill Feyd-Rautha. And then one of them put like a hook in his back. Feyd-Rautha just like he snapped at him. He said, no, back up. Oh, y'all, back up. And I was like, oh shit.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah, he was like, back up, y'all. And then, like, man, listen. And dude had him. Dude really did have him. He almost had him.
Yeah.
And he was, like, right there. Like, he had the knife in his face, the dagger right in his face and everything. But Feyd-Rautha, man, he's a monster. This man, he took his shit. This is the thing that made me like, this motherfucker's crazy. Took it, grabbed him by the neck, and drove that shit in even more.
Yeah.
And just watched him die.
She was crazy.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
This is Feyd-Rautha? Oh, Paul is gonna have a bit of a challenge if he fights him. And the Baron, of course, he's talking to him, and it turns out Feyd-Rautha is the Baron's nephew.
Yep.
And Feyd-Rautha was even he was talking to the Baron, snapping at him a little bit. He's like, man, blah, 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 man, I'm gonna kill you my damn self. And I was like, shit. I was like, shit, man. So then Fade Rother, he's about to go back to his room, do his thing. You know, turns out Lady Margot was following him. He turns around and catches her. He's like, you've been following me. And she's like, oh, really? And she's like, really? I think I got lost. And he's like, oh, okay. So they're walking. Next thing you know, Lady Margot is in his head.
Mm-hmm.
She's doing some she's seducing him basically. And I'm just like, man, listen. I'm like, listen. I mean, I'm all for mind games on some level, but you'll see what I mean in a minute. So she seduces him. He follows her into her room, which she's gorgeous as hell, by the way. I'm not even front.
Oh, absolutely.
But she ain't got nothing on my baby Florence. We'll get to her later too. So once he gets in there in the room with her, she set him up for the Gamja bar, just like Reverend Mother did to Paul in part 1.
Yep.
So I'm like, oh shit. And then you find out the reason they had Fade Rotha is set up for the Gamja bar. The Bene Gesserit want to find out if, like, yeah, he's crazy and whatnot, but can we control him? And I'm like, yo, you why would you want to do that? Why would you want to control somebody like this? Like, once this dude realizes that he's being controlled, it's a wrap.
Nah.
Like, it's a complete wrap. He's dangerous, you know? So that's when you really find out. Not only do you find out that the Bene Gesserit is on some, like, they're pretty much trying to get after everybody. They're going after Harkonnens, going after their Atreides, going after Fremen even on some level. And because they got their own agenda. And I'm just sitting there like, Bene Gesserit, y'all are some real motherfuckers, man.
Yeah.
Like,
they are.
Y'all on some, oh my God, man. So here's the thing where my baby Florence comes in. She is with her pops, the Emperor, Christopher Walken, fucking legend, by the way, perfect casting.
Absolutely.
So she's, you know, making these journal entries and shit. She's basically trying to piece everything together about the Atreides going to Arrakis and everything like that, and like why the Emperor will like wipe them out and all that good shit. And she ends up going, oh shit, what if Paul is still alive? And then eventually they do find out he's still alive.
Yep.
He's still alive. Lady Jessica's still alive, and that poses a threat. So once we get back to Arrakis with the Fremen, Paul, he's becoming more and more and more that dude.
Yeah.
He's pretty much leveling up every chance we see him.
Dude's changing.
Big time.
Yeah.
And the whole time he's telling Chani, he's like, hey, I will love you until my last breath. And I'm like, shit. And I'm like, shit, you better, shit. Because she's honestly the only one that's kind of holding you down right now.
Yeah.
And she doubts him as far as like being the Messiah and stuff like that. But as far as like Paul, like himself, she's all in with him. Oh, like they even have sex and everything and all that shit too. Anyways, so she like so the whole time they're getting ready. So they're they're, you know, figuring all this other shit out, and Lady Jessica, she goes to that's where you mentioned earlier. Lady Jessica, she goes over to the person that handles the baby sandworm.
Yep. Which
I didn't think that this was even a thing. So she catches the sandworm, puts it in the water, sandworm opens its mouth, and they stick a needle in it. And it was like, and you start to see the water of life. Turns out, I think it's like worm piss or worm blood or some shit.
Something like that. Yeah.
But either way, I'm just sitting there like, yo, this fucking movie keeps getting better and better and bigger and bigger. Like, I don't know what else to say about this fucking movie, man. So, the whole time, getting this worm blood. I'm just gonna call it worm blood, by the way. Sure. So, the whole time she gets this worm blood, gives it to Lady Jessica. She goes, "Oh no, it's not for me. It's for Paul." And she goes, she goes, "It's for Paul. I want you to have him drink it." And the person goes, and the one with the baby sandwich, she goes, "But he can't. He's a man. No man has survived this."
She's like, you sure about that?
Yeah, and then Lady Jessica, she uses the voices on him. Let him drink it. And I was like, oh, Which,
Damn, okay.
Listen. I don't want that ability.
Fuck no.
I would not want that ability with the voice. Listen, that shit
shit's wild.
it's
dude.
scary. It's fucking like it's scary as shit, and like that, and that kind of power in your voice is like it's way too much for one person to handle. So, and listen, the sound when her voice hits, it feels like 20 different voices hitting you all at once.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's crazy.
And it makes you like do whatever the hell they want you to do. So anyway, they even used it on Lady Jessica when she drank the shit. So anyways, so after that, Paul and them eventually go over to the or at least no, so Paul he's been having visions more, and he's seeing like Chani dying, like her face like completely like fucked up and shit.
Yeah.
Which that completely fucked me up. And so he is trying to tell her, and Stilgar and them, like, hey, I can't go with you guys. If I go, shit's gonna go down, everybody's gonna die, people are gonna be starving. I don't want that shit on my hands. Which I'm like, I don't blame him. That to have that kind of like burden on you, man. Which, by the way, Paul in this story is like 15 or 16 years old, if I remember correctly. And
I can't remember,
yeah, I think he's a kid basically. And I'm like, damn, to have this kind of like shit on a kid, shit, shit, man. Like, dude, we can barely handle this type of shit as adults, but a whole ass kid, yo, shit, man. Like, yo, so eventually, Chani and them talk him into going south with them. That's when Paul finds the place where Lady Jessica was at. Chick makes him drink the water of life. Dead. Well, passed out, really. But
looks like he's dead.
Yeah, it looks like he's dead. He can do the same shit that Lady Jessica can do. And of course, that's when Lady Jessica tells Chani, she tells him, hey, I know you're the desert spice. So take your tears and have Paul and give it to Paul. And of course Chani, she's like, no, how can you do this to your own son? And blah, 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 you know. And then of course Lady Jessica used the voice on her, drink or give it to him. And I was like,
damn.
So she takes her tear, gives it to Paul. Paul wakes up. He's that dude now. Like, all he had to do is drink the shit and then just come back. He's automatically like he's like, hey, I'm Lisan al-Gaib. I'm Maradib. I'm the voice from the outer world. None of y'all can beat me.
Man, dude saw everything.
Yeah, he saw everything, and everything was connecting all at once. And yo, man, and Stilgar, they're in the prayer circle, and we're sitting there watching the shit. Still, keep in mind, Stilgar and Paul, they'd have to fight because Stilgar's the one that believes in this the most. Like, he'd probably be the one apostle that would like kind of go. And I'm probably getting this wrong, but anyways, Stilgar, he's ready to die. Like, he's ready to be like, Paul, you got to beat me. You got to take me out. And Paul's like, no. We're not going to do that. He said, no, we're not going to do that. I need you to, to help me out. Go deal with this emperor and all that stuff, blah, blah, yada, yada, yada. And when he actually tells people, I am the Lisan al-Gaib and Madab and all that stuff, everyone is like, oh my God, like, it's written, he's here, all that shit. Man, listen, this whole like idea of like beliefs and like how people see that shit and like how it's happening in front of them and how they take it all in and all that shit. This was hella interesting to watch. So once everybody sees that Paul is that dude, they go get Gurney, because I forgot Gurney was in this.
That's right.
Gurney comes on. He tries to fight the Fremen. Paul takes him down. He's like, I recognize your footsteps. And Gurney was like, oh shit, you that dude. And of course they had to teach him, about not to give your water and all that stuff like that. And which Gurney, he went ham in this movie, man. I remember, like, even there was a point in the prayer circle before like Paul and them came in. Chani was trying to like get everybody would be like, hey, yo, this is how, this prophecy, this is how they're gonna enslave us. They're gonna like keep us as like prisoners or something like that. And Gurney was like, hey, calm down, you know what I mean, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you know, Harkonnens, they ain't shit, you know? And she's like, how you know that? And he's like, because this scar Rabba gave to me, and he wanted me to remember him by it. And I was like, oh, okay. So Gurney and Rabba, they got beef, and I like it. So of course, skip ahead. We end up seeing the freaking. we end up seeing the entire like Fremen like come together, which this was something else to see. Like Paul leading the whole group going up to that cliff. Long live the fighters.
That was a poster scene right there.
Oh my god, dude. That's not even the only poster scene I'm thinking of, man.
No.
Like,
that was one of them, though.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
Like, there was that. There's also the scene when they like, drop bombs on the, I think it was the chamber or the palace that the Emperor and them are at. Mm-hmm. And you see Paul just standing there looking at it, and you see him from the back, and you see, like, the explosion. He's just looking at it. I was like,
yep.
This fucking movie this is a painting that we're witnessing here on some level.
Exactly.
And of course everything goes down. They got the Fremen, they're ready to go. They take the fight to the Emperor. The Emperor is trying to like be like, hey, what's going on out there? Yada yada. Because the Baron and them are inside too. Baron he tries to do his thing, but the Sardaukar, they're there too. I think the Sardaukar is the I think they might be either the Emperor's army or they're like mercenaries or something like that. Anyways, so the Sardaukar is there. They cut the Baron shit because they know the Baron is up to some bullshit. Yep. So Baron, he can't walk because Bene Gesserit put a curse on him for raping Lady Jessica, and that's what we find out after Paul woke up. Paul, he's like, so we're Harkonnen too, and I was like,
oh shit, yeah, we were all shook, like, oh damn,
yo, I was not ready for that.
I did not see that. Yeah,
I was not ready for that. Like, I read somewhere that like the Baron did some bullshit to Lady Jessica, but I didn't know it was that. Mm-mm. And he was like, and even when Paul and walk, and even when like you put everything together, you start putting the family members and shit together. So the Baron you find out the Baron is Paul's grandpa. You find out Fade Rotha is Paul's cousin.
Yup.
And I'm like, what? Wow.
Holy shit.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Yo.
That was a jaw-dropping moment.
It really was, man. And then so then back to the Harkonnens, we see Rabba, he's not doing his thing right, and the Baron, he gets Rabba out, and he says, hey, my nephew's gonna take over. He's gonna have your job instead. He was like, no, you know. And then Fade Rotha, he came in on some disrespectful shit too. He said, oh, you're here, kiss my boot. He was like, no. He's like, motherfucker. Yeah. Like, kiss my boot, or you die. And I was like,
damn.
Shit! So of course Rabba kisses Rabba kisses his boot, and I'm just sitting there like, this man, Fade Rotha, is not here to play. Mm-mm. And he even kills one of the Fremen too when they all went to go south. One stayed behind.
Oh yeah.
And he said some cold shit. I couldn't remember what it was, but I know it was cold. It was some cold shit. And by the time that we get to the palace or the chamber or whatever they're at, we see that we see my baby Florence. She's there, the princess. Emperor's there. Reverend Mother is there. Sardakar's there. Fade Rotha and Harkonnens and them, they're there. And Rabba, he tries to get out while the war's going on, while the fight and everything is going on. And we were not ready for how crazy these fight scenes would be.
No, honestly, no.
Like, this is how you film action. Like, no shaky cam, no crazy ass editing. It was just straight up follow the action, follow the action, follow the action.
Exactly, man.
And
it was done right.
Man, Denis Villeneuve, man, not only can he show like crazy good shots, but he can get fight scenes down perfect, man. I want to see him direct an action, like a legit action movie, like on some John Wick shit at some point.
Man.
But man, so anyways, so we're in the chamber with them. Paul and them have taken over. He's ready to do his thing. He's Emperor's like, hey, the great houses are coming. If they come and notice that the spice production is stopped, they're gonna like take us out. And then Paul tells Gurney, he said, Gurney, send a message to the great houses that if they even come here, we're gonna fuck them up. And he was like, all right, cool. So of course that's when you see like, so Paul, he's ready. He's still that dude.
Oh yeah.
Like he's ready to go. He's ready to fight.
He's
ready
on that next level.
He's ready to kill the Emperor, all that shit. And of course, we see Lady Jessica. She's still talking to the baby, and Paul ends up seeing a vision that he sees his sister. It's his sister.
Yep.
And it's Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yeah.
As his sister.
Yeah.
Which I was like, okay, I remember hearing something.
Shit.
I remember hearing something that Anya Taylor-Joy was in this movie, but we didn't know what the role was.
Yeah.
I was not ready for her to be Paul's sister.
Nah.
That shit, man, that was, man. Anyways, so so over to the so back to the crazy scene in the movie. Paul is ready to go. He's ready to fight the Emperor, all that shit. But the Emperor, he's too old. He can't fight like that anymore. So he goes. So then Paul goes, all right, fine. I'll take your champion then. And then Fade Roth is like, what's up? So we get that crazy ass good looking shot with Paul and Fade Roth just facing off.
Man.
Amazing ass shot.
Holy shit.
And then I was not ready for how crazy this fight was, man.
That was one of the best fight scenes in the whole
It
movie.
was the best fight in the whole movie, my guy.
Yeah.
Like Paul was doing some crazy ass moves. I was hella into it. He even did this one move where like Fade Roth tried to trip him and he did a spiral. I was like, ooh, okay.
Yup.
I was like, I see you, Paul.
Damn.
I see you, Paul. So this man, Paul and Fade, they're going at it, man.
We did back and forth, to be honest.
Boom, 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 boom. I was like, ooh, okay.
Damn.
Then Fade, he gets a good one in. He goes boom into Paul's like shit. He's like, and I'm like, oh shit. So Paul, man, he's sitting there doing it. He's sitting there trying to catch his breath and everything like that. And Fade Roth, he's getting ready to kill him. This tries to do the same thing like dude in the Gladiator arena, grabs Paul by the neck, takes the shit.
Tried it.
Paul grabs the blade, which I'm like, ah!
Yeah, dude.
I felt
I swear, you could like.
I felt
feel
it. I felt it like
slice
going
it through
in
his hand, like through his fingers.
Yeah, I felt that shit. I was like, ah!
Oh man.
Listen, that still suit, it ain't, for all I know, it ain't armor. It's not armor. For all I know, I'm sure you can feel all of that. So he's grabbing the shit. He's grabbing the shit, trying to stop himself from dying. Paul and Fade, they're still in the fight. Paul and Fade, rather, they're still in the fight. They do a couple more moves, and then boom, Paul takes another blade to the shoulder.
Yep.
But then you look down, Fade got his shit, and like it. I was like, ooh,
he's done.
Even Fade was done. Even when Fade was done, he had to give Paul his props. He's like, damn, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Paul, shit, you got me, good shit.
Yeah.
Like, so of course, Paul's about to go kill the Emperor. My baby Florence, she stops him and she's like, hey, spare him and I will marry you. And I was like, what?
Damn.
So, and then before all of that, Paul tells Chani one more time, I will love you until my last breath. And then of course, that's when Paul, he's like, yo, why'd you do it? Why'd you kill my pops, man? Blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. And then the Emperor's like, your dad was weak. No person who sits in that throne should rule by heart. They should rule by, like, what was it, fear or some shit like that?
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. And, of course, Paul, he was just like, all right, in that case, I'll take your daughter's hand in marriage, but kiss this ring. And I was like, dog.
Yeah.
So Zendaya, Chani,
he's on that power trip now.
Absolutely power trip. Like he doesn't even love. Keep in mind, some people say that was a breakup or whatever, and I get it, but I didn't see it as that. That was more that he doesn't love her. He doesn't love the princess like that. I do, but he doesn't love the princess like that. He doesn't love the princess like that to marry. Mm-hmm. It's just a power move just to ascend the throne, and it's just so he can like stop spice production and all that shit and harvesting it. So, anyways, by the time he gets to we get to Chani's pissed, and I don't blame her.
Oh yeah.
I don't blame her. So she dips out. Paul and the princess, they're married. Paul is about to ascend the throne. Chani, she's pissed. Lady Jessica, hold up, we gotta go back a little bit. The fucking when the Reverend Mother was from the Benny Gesserit from the part 1 tried to do that shit to him. She was like, Paul, She was like, Paul, you have no idea what you're doing.
Consider what you're about to do, Paul Atreides.
Silence! And she
was like,
she was shook. She was like, man, I got hyped.
No.
I was hyped, man. I got so hyped.
Yeah.
I got so hyped when he checked her. When he checked that Reverend Mother, I was fucking hyped as shit. So Lady Jessica, she was like, hey, don't look at me.
Yeah.
So then after everything's done, Chani's out, Paul and the princess are married. Lady Jessica, she's sitting there like, yeah. And then of course you hear the baby, you hear the daughter. She's going, what's happening, Mom? What's going on? What's going on? And then she's going, the Holy War has just begun. Which I'm like, no.
Damn.
So right there, that just told me there's way more story to tell here.
Oh yeah.
There's for all I know,
it's just getting started.
Yeah, the third movie's coming. For all I know, I haven't heard anything yet, but I'm thinking the third movie's coming.
I think it might be rumored, but it might be a while.
Man, that's okay. That is okay. Listen,
damn,
how long it took to make Dune Part 2?
Worth it.
Yeah, and that
absolutely
the fact they had to push it back because of the strikes. Smart decision.
They did, yeah.
Smart decision. This was worth the wait. They killed it with this movie. I need to go see this movie at least 2 more times.
Facts.
The one word that I think of when I think of this movie is epic.
Oh, absolutely.
Fucking epic, man.
Masterclass.
Absolutely, man. This was a movie.
Experience.
Yes.
This was an experience.
It's an immersion. You just get the movie literally just wraps you into the world, and you're just like.
That's exactly.
It literally makes you. It literally makes you feel like, oh shit, I'm in the same.
You are in Dune.
Yeah, like you're in Dune, which that's not even the name of the planet anymore. Arrakis was just a name that was just randomly given. They said, the planet is Dune, and I was like, makes sense, makes perfect sense. And I love this movie, man. 10 out of 10, 100
absolutely,
all 100, 8++. Fucking best movie of the year, in my opinion.
You know what this means.
Oh, yeah, it's a certified good time, yo. It's a certified good time in this bitch. And I fucking loved it. I can't wait to see this shit. I can't wait to see it, to watch this with people who haven't seen this before.
Yes.
Like, that's
what I'm talking about, man.
Yo, man, this movie was everything that I expected on some level, but it was more.
I was expecting a lot from this movie, but when we saw it, it ramped it up over 100.
I agree, man.
From what I was expecting so much out of this movie, it took that and like shot it up.
Quality like this takes time, and you can't rush this shit.
You can absolutely tell that it was his passion for this movie.
He's been working on this, doing storyboarding for this since he was a teenager, and the man and this man Denis Villeneuve, I think he's damn near 60 now. Like you've been working on this shit your whole life, and it's this good?
Dude, for a movie that apparently couldn't have been filmed
because the book was deemed unfilmable. Shit,
he fucking did it.
Denis Villeneuve said, "Hold my beer."
Yeah,
man,
that's how it's done, man.
Honestly, this man, he killed it. Denis Villeneuve, man, killed it. the writers of the movie. I think Denis Villeneuve also helped write it.
Yup.
Timothy Chalamet, Zendaya, Rebecca Ferguson, Javier Bardem, Austin Butler, my guy, fucking my baby Florence Pugh.
All around, man.
Yo, this
Cast. They
yo.
fucking nailed it. The writing, dude.
Yup.
The score.
Don't even get me started on the
Holy
score.
shit.
Don't even get me started on the score, man. I just finished
have
listening to
to.
it today.
Oh, man. So did I.
I just,
Yes.
this was.
I love the score of Dune,
I love the
man.
music.
Part
Hans
one,
Zimmer.
Part two.
Hans
You
Zimmer.
can't go wrong with it.
Hans Zimmer. Yo,
Mm.
we gotta give this man his props too.
Masterful, man.
I love this movie, man. I love this movie.
It just helps you. It helps you get into that movie, man.
Hell yeah,
It
man.
helps you get into it.
Hell yeah. Especially when you've never read the book.
Yeah.
Oh, yo.
Yeah.
And now I can't wait to read them.
That's the thing about what part one and part two did is it makes you want to get into the books now if you haven't already. Like,
Yep. I can't wait to read them.
I can't honestly.
I can't wait to read them.
That's wild.
All right, guys. Dune Part 2. How'd y'all feel about this movie? Was y'all fucking with this movie just like we were? Hey, man, look, if y'all were, comment down below, hit that like button,
Let's go.
subscribe to the channel, and of course, y'all, share this shit with your friends.